Here are some Excel tricks for you to know next time you need to put together a summary or a dashboard. First, if you need to summarize your data first, let's select everything and insert a pivot table. We're going to hit OK to a new sheet. Now I want to see month and sales. So for every month, this is going to be the total sales summarized from that first tab. I'm going to select it again, copy and paste, and this time for this table, let's just see by region the units that were sold. Whatever total you want to see, you put that in the value section. Then let's type in revenue and profit, and let's do a sum of all of the sales, which is going to be revenue. And then let's do the same thing to sum the profit from the other tab here. So we're going to select that, press Control Shift down arrow, and then let's change this to dollar signs because when we use this later, you need to format it here. I inserted a column here just for space, and then let's insert a line chart, or a line pivot chart, I should say. Click on these, anything you don't want, right click and either press delete or right click and just select hide. Next, I'm going to insert our donut chart, so hit OK. And then same thing, right click to hide these things that you don't want shown, and then or just click on that and press delete. Let's resize this roughly to what we're thinking we need it to be. And then let's go up here to illustrations and insert two text boxes. So I'm going to draw the first one in and equal the number in revenue. And then next I am going to change the format here to a bevel so it stands out a little bit, just looks a little bit nicer. And then let's change the font on this to make it much larger. We will come back to this later for more formatting. You can align it however you wish and move it roughly into place. And then I'm just going to copy and paste. And same thing, equals the profit number now. This way it's dynamic, so as your other data updates, these will update as well. Then let's increase the font size here, do some formatting. We'll again come back to this later. And then let's insert a couple more shapes, and this time this is going to be our titles. So we'll just copy paste, make sure you select the right thing to copy paste. And then this one at the top will be revenue, and then the bottom one stays profit. Now I cut this to spare you some time for editing, but I went up to quick styles and just changed the style of these charts. And then I did some resizing and removing here. So now what we want to do is increase the size here so that we can really see this chart. And then let's insert our slicer and let's choose region. So we're going to move this in place, and the region are our buttons basically that are going to control that line chart. So we're going to select 4 of those. So now they're going 4 across, and we can make that much thinner, and we'll move it in place and resize. And then let's at the top here add a title, and we'll just call it annual sales. I am merging and centering because I have no reason not to in this particular case. And then let's increase the size of that title, and then we can reduce some of these rows here now and move things better into place. So now let's test it real quick. It's working well, and we'll move these in place. So next up here in shape format, I want to make sure that this has no outline and no fill at this point. I'm going to move this on top of the text box that is above. And so I just don't need additional outlines showing. So we'll do the same thing for both of these. And then we can change the font size on this to be bigger, bold it. You can play around with colors, whatever you want to do. Let's change this actually to total profit, and let's resize this a bit. And in a second here, I'm going to pause again or I'm going to cut again, I should say, and spare you some of the time spent in resizing and editing. But feel free to move these and resize things however it works for whatever data you have on here. So then again, we can increase the size on here. We'll make that bold. And let's add total revenue. These numbers are not going to change with the slicer, so it makes sense to be really clear on what they are and how we title them. And then eventually it's going to be on top of that shape. And we'll move this one in place. So I still think these could be a little bit larger. You really want to take up the screen when you're creating a dashboard and have enough white space so it's clear what's going on, but you want to show the summary as best you can. So let's go back up here to the upper right and under format, shape styles, let's change the rest of these to match the text boxes, and we will add that 3D bevel to those as well. And you can just do that by clicking on a chart and then going up to format and repeating the steps. So next, I'm going to change this title here. Let's call it total sales by month. And then let's change this title to total units by region. Again, you really want this to be clear exactly what it is so that anyone can pick this up and look at it and make complete sense of it. So then again, we're gonna just increase the size. Like I said, I paused here a little bit so I can in between here make these look a little better. Now, if you go to page layout, you can actually change the entire theme of colors that you have to choose from. So I just went up to the page layout menu and selected a different color range. I did blue too. And so now you can go through here, and when you want to change the backgrounds on things, you can use the fill function, and it is all different types of blues and greens with this theme we chose. So now under marker options built in, let's increase the size. Let's do a solid fill, and let's make that a darker blue. I really like the dots to be able to stand out for where the data points are. And then if we test it out, looking pretty good. Next, I'm going to double click on that bottom left chart, and I added value to it. So now you can see the percentage and the actual value of quantity. And then at the top, I added data labels, and you can go in here and you can format center, left, whichever view you want them to be. You can change those and then close out of that when you're done. And it's looking good.